Police say 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell are responsible for shooting and killing a local rapper, Ronnie Sibley, and his 5-year-old daughter Monday at a car wash.
Yo, face! Yo, your face, please! With sugar on top!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines, but we'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, grand opening, grand closing. I told y'all before in the previous video that it was only a matter of time before these guys would get caught due to numerous of reasons surrounding the incident behind the passing of Hood fame Lil Ronnie. For y'all that don't know, Texas rapper and gambler Hood fame G Money Lil Ronnie was shot and unalive on March 3rd around 10:45 a.m. while he was at Slappy's car wash located in Forest Hill. Now, according to news reports, they said a white Kia pulled up to the car wash where Lil Ronnie was at as he was vacuuming his car with his 5-year-old daughter in the car when two suspects ran up and began firing at Lil Ronnie. Lil Ronnie tried to run away as he was being shot, but unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to make it. The gunmen will open fire multiple times, and police say that Ronnie may have been struck over 30 times according to news reports. In the midst of the shooting, Ronnie's 5-year-old daughter, who had just celebrated her 5th birthday the day before, was struck in the crossfire and would unfortunately pass away due to her injuries. Now, as soon as we all heard that a 5-year-old passed away during the shooting, automatically we all knew that it wasn't going to be long before the suspects were caught, because it's one thing to shoot and unalive a grown person, but as y'all know, when you unalive a child, you're now forcing the police to do their jobs because the public is going to definitely want justice for a kid that's 5 years old that was shot during the shooting. So even though they took Lil Ronnie's life, they was better off just walking themselves into the jail because it was only going to be a matter of time. And yeah, you took his life, but you literally just threw yours away as well when you do something so brazen. Now, it's a couple of things that we're going to get into because aside from the suspects being caught, y'all know social media detectives have already done their research and have linked certain people to the suspects already. Like I stated in the last video, whether this person or that person really has something to do with Ronnie's passing, social media is always going to run with the last person they've seen Ronnie beefing with publicly, and that's who they're going to point the finger at. And once again, this is why you keep street business off social media at all times. Simple. But let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
2 capital murder suspects are now identified and subjects of a manhunt.
They're scared, they're cowards, they're hiding.
They are 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell.
Now, the same day that the shooting took place, law enforcement already issued 2 capital M warrants for 2 suspects in the unaliving of Hood fame Lil Ronnie and his daughter. Although they didn't put any names out when the warrants were issued, just the fact that they had warrants put out let us know that they already have identified who the suspects were. 2 days later, it will be revealed that law enforcement have officially released the names and faces of the 2 allegedly responsible for the shooting. It will come out that 21-year-old Jacoby Russell and 24-year-old Adonis Robinson was the 2 suspects police are now looking for. It's not much that was said, but they did do their homework on one of the suspects, and it would come out that 24-year-old Robinson was arrested in 2019 and later convicted for assaulting a woman who was walking near Marine Creek Reservoir. After being convicted on that case, he was now listed as an official SEX offender for his actions. Sheesh. Now, police chief also said that they're unsure of the motive behind the shooting and they don't know whether the suspects knew the victim or not, basically stating that it could have been a hit or It could have been something personal between Lil Ronnie and the suspects. Now, the two suspects are currently still on the loose and have been labeled armed and dangerous by law enforcement, and a bolo has been put out for them as well. Police are unsure at the time if they are still in the area or in Texas, period, which I'm sure they are because these guys who do things like this never make it out their city. However, if they are smart, they should have been on the next flight smoking once they realized that they took the life of a 5-year-old child. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain, when they do catch some young boys, you could almost bet your bottom dollar that they're gonna sing like a canary. So if someone did in fact send them on that mission, which I'm kinda sure they did, they better skip country as soon as they can because they know them boys is gonna give them up. I can already see the cops telling them kids that they're gonna be locked up forever, scaring them into telling them everything, and they're gonna do so. Watch. Now, speaking of telling everything, like I told y'all before, social media is a dangerous place when it comes to putting street business on there because you leave social media detectives no choice but to start putting their own investigations together, and as soon as the faces and names of the suspects were released, that's exactly what they did. Now, remember when they connected a certain someone to the shooting before the suspects were even identified? Well, social media being social media would start their own investigation and point out that a certain someone may have also been linked to the suspects after seeing that they follow the same person on Instagram. Check this out. You can't make this up, y'all. You would think that being that these guys have already been identified, that the man would at least get rid of anything that may tie him to them, whether he really has anything to do with it or not. Clearly, it's all over social media that they were beefing, and automatically people have already assumed that he may have been behind it, and then to see that he's affiliated with one of the suspects sounds like enough for a conspiracy case in the least. And on top of that, if you pay attention to what the police chief said during the conference, he made it very clear that they have knowledge that Lil Ronnie's passing may have been due to something within the music industry. Check this out.
Based on the music industry that he's a part of, it is all part of the investigation. And like I said earlier, we're on a fact-finding base. Everything that's being put out is being reviewed and analyzed by the Texas Rangers.
Now, his exact words were, based on the music industry that Ronnie was in, it's all a part of the investigation, and everything that's put out is being analyzed by the Texas Rangers. So what does that tell y'all? Why else would they correlate Ronnie's shooting to the music industry? Right? I'll just leave that there. Now, once again, like I said before, I'm not pointing any fingers, but once you put street business on social media, you leave room for any and everybody to draw their own conclusions or have their own opinions. And when it comes to the suspects, I told y'all before that it was just a matter of time before they were caught. They went on a crash mission with no mask and caught 2 bodies in broad daylight. With all the technology that's going around these days, facial recognition and the whole 9 yards, catching a body in broad daylight with no mask on is just like walking yourself into the prison. But we see why they were sloppy, because we will find out that they are basically kids trying to be grown. Not to mention, whether they meant to do it or not, they took the life of a 5-year-old child. This forces the police to actually do work and finding whoever was behind it to put the community at ease, because we know that they definitely want justice. Now, was it a hit? To me, I would say it was. I told y'all, judging from the surveillance video we seen, that they were moving like some YNs, and come to find out, they actually were. So when you match up their ages with Ronnie's, and you realize that they were pretty much kids, it's clear as day that they were sent on a crash out mission by someone. And trust me, Texas police is definitely going to get to the bottom of it. If y'all know anything about them Texas Rangers, when it comes to solving crimes, they move like the feds themselves. If you know, you know. Now, for the ones that watch us covering this situation and jump in the comments saying things like, oh, y'all say anything for views, y'all trying to incriminate people, y'all snitching, y'all don't know what y'all talking about because it wasn't X, Y, and Z. Let me tell y'all this, man. Number one, a child lost her life. That snitching stuff goes out the window once you take the life of a civilian for no reason, nonetheless, a child. There's rules to the streets, and if you disobey the rules, which is no women or children, what makes you think people supposed to obey them when it comes to you being penalized? And number two, when y'all say that we're incriminating anybody, why don't y'all take the time to tell these rappers to stop getting on social media and incriminating themselves? We wouldn't know anything or have anything to speak on if they didn't tell us. Anything that's covered is spoken on based off information that's already put out there. And y'all know, anytime you put anything on social media, you leave room for the world to have their own opinions on it, whether it's right or wrong. It's their opinions. So if you don't want your business on social media, simply don't put it on there. It's literally that simple. And this is why we always say that street business shouldn't be brought to the internet, because as soon as it's up, there's no taking it back. Like I stated in the last video, whether this one or that one had anything to do with the passing of Lil Ronnie, social media is always going to point fingers at whoever they seen beefing with him last. Simple as that. He could have been beefing with a damn farmer from South Dakota or something. But if that farmer never get on the internet and make it known, then guess what? Nobody will ever know that he was beefing with a damn farmer. Alright, so y'all jump in the comments and let us know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. And I'm out.